subscribe and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hello everyone. Today on Lady Mary Bath, we're back at Crossroads Antiques. They're located in Conroe, north of Houston. You will remember this shop from the original Triple Thrift. They have some fabulous antiques and a very special collection that we're going to view today. Join me. The store is closed today so that we can preview this amazing collection of Waterford Crystal. There are 200 pieces that will be coming into the store, and these were owned by one private collector. Let's take a look at this wonderful collection. The store has just about every era represented and so many fine furnishings as well. It's definitely worth a visit, but of course I immediately am drawn to this table of my favorite crystal brand, and lots to discover here, including that fabulous centerpiece. And some of these are familiar to me, but I would say the majority are probably from about 2000 and newer. And many of these are in the original boxes, just a couple of exceptions, and they were never even used. So you're getting something in pristine condition for a fraction of the original retail cost. This seahorse centerpiece bowl is multi-purpose. This is filled with Christmas ornaments, which would be the easiest way to display. My friend Mark used this in his 50th birthday celebration with a beautiful floral centerpiece. It was quite a statement, and it was placed on a cake plateau so that it had even more height. That's something to consider when you are looking to add to your tabletop collection. This Waterford trifle bowl is $450. It is an Art Deco inspired piece. And this would be good for fruit salad, just about any type of serving. Trifle bowls became popular in the mid-1700s when trifles were popular with the combination of cake, custard, and alcohol. This would be a great addition to your tabletop collection. The Book of Kells is a special piece from 2016. And a lot of you have asked if the Waterford sticker and or the ribbons for these special pieces should remain or should be removed. My response is absolutely remove them for display and use in your home. It's not a museum, and you want to definitely save those if that's important to you, and remember the history of these pieces. And that pedestal bowl was $395, a steal. That would have been about $1,200 retail. And this Christmas centerpiece bowl is magnificent. Look at all of those cuts, and it's $395. And if you're interested in these pieces, definitely call the store and they can ship it to you. We'll talk about that later. And we'll also meet Winston. You will see him at the very end of the video, and he is definitely there to greet you. This piece is definitely something that I would want to add to my collection of rose bowls. It's the abstract seahorse design, and that is a retired piece at $98. That's an excellent price with the new Waterford etched logo. Here's a piece signed by Tom Brennan. He was a master artisan with Waterford Crystal, and now he's the national spokesperson. $169 is a great price on that boat bowl. Reminds me of some of the museum pieces from years ago. And most of these have the original boxes, just a couple of exceptions. And definitely great for regifting or for storing if you're using it seasonally. Beautiful scalloped oval bowl. Also signed by Tom Brennan, $230. And this turnover bowl is definitely an older design that has been made fairly recently. Look at that detail. $125. And this is the exception, no box, but most of the pieces have it. This sort of reminds me of the Kennedy bowl, yet it's a bit different with a scallop design. And that's $395. It's the Festival Banquet Bowl. Waterford Crystal has had many different collections historically, museum pieces, master cutter collection, and the House of Waterford. These are very well priced trifle bowls and centerpieces. This is $325. Look at that beautiful cut and detail. We'll take a closer look at these, including one signed by Tom Brennan, the spokesperson for Waterford Crystal. That's the Castle Bowl. These stunning statement pieces can stand alone. You really wouldn't have to do too much with these. And of course, if you place it on maybe a red tablecloth for the holidays or a mirrored base, they just would be the belle of the ball. And when you're looking at a piece like this, whether it's a wine glass or a bowl, you certainly want to have an overhead view because it often tells a different story. The Lucerne pattern that came out in the 90s was interesting, but when you looked from above as you're taking a sip out of the glass, you could see a flower was formed. This trifle bowl is only $2.95, also signed by Tom Brennan. Great price. And this, I think, is my favorite out of the three. Just absolutely amazing. $3.95. And you certainly can't go in the secondary market and find these prices. And if you don't live in the Houston area, you can certainly contact the store and they can assist you with a purchase. And I will mention that later on in the video. $3.25 for the Castle Bowl. So much detail, and if a stem pattern takes 14 hours of labor for each glass, think what goes into these pieces. This magnificent vase is a master cutter. It was probably designed by Jim O'Leary, who was the design director of Waterford Crystal, and a master blower, a master cutter, would have worked on this. It definitely would not be an apprentice piece. And a lot of the master cutter pieces have a certificate. It might be in the original box. And as all of these items are very well priced, $375. And it just really is a showstopper. If I had more room, I probably would take it home. Just think of the floral arrangement you could place inside. We all love something new in a box, and this 12 Days of Christmas collection is quite extensive. It would make a great gift. These flutes are $149.95. So for $150, you could add that missing flute to your 12 Days of Christmas collection. And I will show you these a little up close. The partridge in a pear tree is usually the hardest to find because that's the first in the collection. Crystal champagne flutes present nicely on a silver tray. That's one way that I entertain, and it keeps everything together. Of course, you could place this at each place setting. And for Christmas morning, that would be perfect. $125 each. And you'll see they're the same size and shape, but yet the cuts are different. And of course, the etched design as well. Would look great with mimosas. And if you're missing one of the 12 Days of Christmas, you could certainly get in touch with the shop and maybe they have your missing piece. These are brand new. They've never been used. You can see the original stickers and that lovely box. You could even present these for a gift. You don't have to have the entire collection. And these have the ribbons. You'll notice the cuts are a bit different. And that's $250. It must be a rare collection there. And take that ribbon off and place it in your box for safekeeping and enjoy what you have. They really are stunning. And I understand that saucer champagnes are coming back into style as well, so pay attention to that. And of course, one of my favorite glasses to use for desserts. This is the Abstract Seahorse collection that continues. You'll remember the rose bowl that we just saw. This is the iced beverage. Just gorgeous. And I think that Waterford makes the finest cut crystal, especially in modern tabletop. The Waterford Seahorse pattern is a relatively new one, although it is retired and much loved. This is $98 today in the store, part of the estate, and it's $400 on replacements. I am thinking about taking this home. That's one of my favorite tabletop essentials, perfect for a centerpiece. And the Seahorse iced beverages are $49.95 each. Those are $100 on replacements. A very fair price for this collection. The Seahorse is a coveted style, and that's something that Waterford brought out fairly recently, the last maybe 15, 20 years. And this pair of candlesticks I've not actually seen before, the smaller ones. With a triple Seahorse, I think I can imagine a few viewers who would want to have this. And I'm also considering it, so stay tuned to see if I take it home. $89.95 for the pair. That's an incredible price. And the taller ones I actually do have, and I know those are very popular as well. The seahorse is a symbol for Waterford Crystal, and the larger pair of candle holders has sold along with this footed compote centerpiece. Isn't that a fantastic one? The smaller ones are available $89.95. I might think about taking these home and adding them to my seahorse collection. Val St. Lambert offers a pop of color with that cut to clear decanter set on a silver tray, and a bit more modern with the Waterford Lismore Essence collection. These candle holders give a modern twist, and of course Lismore is the #1 pattern across all of tabletop with stemware, and they wanted to just have maybe a fresh look with that. A Waterford lamp, you know, those are hard to find because they've now discontinued all lightingware with Waterford Crystal. I'm very sad about it, but hopefully it'll come back. This amber vase I had not seen before. It's a Jorge Perez Golden Age vase, and that was made to honor his anniversary. And he now is with Shop HQ. I worked with him when he was with Waterford Crystal in my day, back in the 90s. And he's quite famous today. And he was really just a great guy. I enjoyed working with him. This thistle vase is stunning. I tell you, everywhere you look, they have just something amazing. And now we have some pieces that you could use for every day for your tabletop essentials. And we'll take a closer look at this case. When you're looking for great gifts, Crossroads has some wonderful options. This footed Waterford compote is $35. It's a mid-size. You could use this for anything with serving, including whipped cream with strawberries. And if you have the Mauve or Traymore pattern, this is the single old-fashioned. It's $45. These patterns are interchangeable. They have the same cuts, so keep that in mind. And a Waterford bowl. I think this is the perfect gift because it's so interchangeable. Also $35 for this footed bowl. There's always something practical and affordable to discover in this case. You might remember the chalice, which was an extra special piece on the last visit. And whether it's candle holders, a jam jar, salt and pepper shakers, there's something that you could incorporate into your everyday table, whether it's breakfast or tea time. Waterford really should be on your table. It brings joy, it's an excellent quality. There's the Bethany candle holder, even office items. Of course, clocks are great for New Year. You could place them on a buffet. The clean bowl is one of my absolute favorites. And the salad servers. That's something that's very hard to find. $95, and they look like they've never been used. And that's from about the late 90s. And here's that Lismore jam jar or honey pot. There are a few items that stand out in this case that are exceptional deals. This Lismore honey pot or jam jar is $28. This launched in, I believe, 1994. It was one of the first Lismore collections made in Germany, and that retailed, I think, at $98. That's a fantastic deal. These candle holders in the Eileen pattern are $22 each. Any of these items would be a perfect gift, whether it's for Christmas, birthday, or even a wedding. You can't get this quality at this price anywhere on the market. And I certainly go to my local antique shop or consignment store before I am looking at a retail. That's Canterbury from Marquis by Waterford. And look at that old world classic crystal. It's rare, but sometimes Waterford has patterns that have the same cut. This is the Traymore, which is definitely an older one. It's in the shape of the Lismore, not the cut, but the shape of the glass. And this is Mauve, which was around in the 90s. This is $45, and these are $35. You could certainly interchange them, and if you're looking for the iced beverage or the single or double old-fashioned, you'll want to look at the Traymore because you might get a better deal on that since Mauve was more popular in the 80s and 90s. I'm always looking for retired pieces from James Avery, a Texas jewelry designer. You've probably seen me feature this before. And they do have 2 trays of treasures. I'm going to take a look and see if there's anything that's missing in my jewelry wardrobe. and show you some of these fantastic pendants, bracelets, and earrings. And there are also some rings and cufflinks. I'm always looking on the secondary market for retired James Avery pieces. Some of the charms actually go for $600 or more if they're rare. Those basket weave earrings, I actually have these from my mother. They were originally French clips. They must have been adapted. And charms start about $54 retail. And of course, being retired, they go for a lot more. And charm bracelets, I found these on Shop Goodwill. They go for $800 or more, believe it or not, because there might be some rare charms. And that's why I like to shop my local antique store or consignment shop, because you find some that you've been looking for years. And one of these rings looks familiar. I have it in onyx, and it's called the Monaco ring. And this actually was a style in the 1980s in gold. This is with chrysoprase. And their prices are good, especially for retired pieces. Even a bookmark with a Lumiere with the gold and silver. I have that collection. And the ruffled I do not have, and that is a striking piece. I'm always looking for jewelry when I'm out shopping, especially James Avery. That's $265 it looks like. I like this. It's kind of a modern, edgy piece. Beautiful pendant. And I remember these earrings too. Those are $98, and these are probably from maybe 2005. It's a good price. The Barley Twist fire screen. This came from an estate. Many items were rescued and placed in the store. $655, I think that's a good price. Certainly something hard to find. It's probably from England with that Barley Twist, which is my favorite. And now we're going to take a look at some porcelain pieces. You know, I like to show you a bit of everything. And this is a familiar pattern, but yet it's definitely an older set that I haven't seen before. There's some fine treasures in this case here. The Imari pattern you probably recognize from Royal Crown Derby, but before they were Royal Crown, they were just Derby. And there's some different eras represented here, including back to the 1700s. This is from 1820 to 1840. Isn't that a fabulous design? If these teacups could talk, I'm sure there's a lot of history there. This particular one is from 1820 to 1840. We'll turn it over, look at the back stamp, and it is Derby. You could certainly put that into Google Lens and learn a bit about the history. And it's $195. And of course, it later became Royal Crown Derby. I knew that you recognized that name, and it would have received an appointment by the king or the queen. Circa 1878 for this teacup. Look how vibrant the colors still are after that many years. And of course, these were hand painted, lots of detail inside the cup. And we can also turn that over, look at the back stamp, and that gives us some more information. And there's a serving piece as well, and that probably would have been on the tea table since it's next to all these teacups. I would imagine that it would have survived for a reason. And I can imagine scones presented inside, or perhaps maybe a warm addition to the tea table. Here's another example of Imari. This is a covered server. It is from 1806 to 1825, and it's $195. And look at the interior. Lots of detail here on this exquisite piece. This fish set is unique because it is actually made in England. It is not from Limoges, France. And apparently that is rare. And the shop owner gives us lots of information here. $1,195 for this George Jones set. Lots of detail here in the artist's signature. Let's turn it over. Crescent China, England. That is a beautiful back stamp. Salmon trout. I happened to mention to the owners that if they ever had a broken piece of china, then they should save it for, of course, making jewelry. And wouldn't you know, this Imari plate from 1877, it's actually from Derby with a beautiful back stamp, had one plate that got broken when the owner brought it in to consign. And I'm going to take this to my favorite China jewelry designer, China Baroque, and have something fabulous made. That'll be beautiful. And since it has gold accents, we will gold plate the pendant or bracelet or whatever we might make. So stay tuned. I am honored to help preserve this beautiful porcelain piece. It will be designed and hand-cut in Houston at China Baroque, and then it will be sent on to Bali for the jewelry making. Here's an overview of the store. There's lots to discover. We're not covering everything today. I encourage you to pop in to Crossroads. And let's find a pop of color behind this white tree and some gorgeous statues. Look at that. Wouldn't that be amazing on a dining table? The candelabra. And here is a Bohemian punch set. It's been hand painted, complete with the punch cups and the ladle. $895. I love that cranberry color. And I have to say, I have not seen this exact one before. The shape is definitely European. I have a cut crystal version of that without the cups. Mine is from Germany, and that looks to be delicate cranberry glass.
If there's something you see in the video that you absolutely have to have, be sure to look in the video description. You will find all the information to reach out to Crossroads Antiques, and they will ship to you anywhere in the world. If you have to have this blue hobnail pitcher for $55, they will ship to you in Syria, China, Russia, and even Greenland. So many countries of the world that shop here at Crossroads.
I know that many of you enjoy sterling silver, and I thought we would feature this today. They do have some lovely antique and vintage pieces. I like even a serving spoon. It doesn't have to be an entire set of flatware if that's not something that's in your budget, or maybe you don't have space for it. And I do use my sterling flatware often. Look at this candelabra. That is a fantastic piece. We'll have to take a closer look at that. And this candelabra actually has a vase in the center, very Victorian looking, with the idea there for formal tables. And that looks like it's $275, or is it $215? You might need to call the store and find out.
They have some great sterling items, including something quite affordable and very giftable. $49.50 for this Gorham Strasbourg bonbon spoon. You'll see that it is pierced and perfect for serving just about anything from nuts to chocolates. Every household needs one. And this Francis I dish is solid silver, $845, and has a beautiful back stamp. And one more thing I wanted to show you is a sterling candelabra. You may think this is out of your league with a price point, or perhaps you don't feel like you should add this to your tabletop essentials, but you do need it. You actually do. $245 for this. It is the gadroon border, and you can adapt this and shorten it even one more layer here for great entertaining.
Silver certainly elevates my everyday, and especially for entertaining. I enjoy using it for parties and showers. Here's another look at that three-way convertible candelabra. And there are lots of things that I missed here. I'm now seeing a sterling silver tea strainer in the shape of a teapot. Fantastic. And this Tiffany & Company bowl reminds of the Waterford Crystal Castle bowl that we just saw. It's $895, a classic look, and a lot of silver. And lots of smaller things that are easy to overlook, but fantastic pieces too. This punch bowl ladle. It's got an ebony handle, and everything in the case is sterling silver. There's nothing silver plate. And these salt and pepper shakers with the gadroon border are made by Duchenne. You'll notice that back stamp you will see often. And these are glass lined so that the salt does not affect the silver. That's not a combination that you want. And this basket is lovely. And this pattern I wanted to show you is Florentine lace by Reed & Barton. It's quite a decorative look. It has 14 individual piercings for that dramatic 3D, and magnificent pattern, and very affordable on the secondary market. You might want to look for Florentine lace. This is a different pattern. It looks rather Victorian. I think that I have some pieces that would match this. Flowers were very popular. And the sterling-based crystal vase. I had a similar one growing up that was etched. That might have been a Cambridge made by a silver company. A lot of times companies work together and use the best of their craftsmanship. Beautifully upholstered French Gilt chairs. These are amazing, beautifully preserved. I can see these in a formal living. $895 each, and you would spend that on just the upholstery. And these would also fit in a grand salon if you have a home in Paris and you'd like to ship these. And that's my color. Really like those. And this furniture is perfect for displaying your beautiful pieces. I do remember this from the last visit. It's easy to overlook it. That would be a great addition to your home. And now we're entering the bedroom. These twin beds belong to twin girls growing up many years ago in the French provincial style. And they have also been beautifully upholstered and with the valances too. Love those colors. It would be perfect for a little girl's room or a guest room, $1,095 each. It's full of surprises. You never know what you'll discover here at Crossroads. And they have wonderful glass collections. We didn't see it all, so I encourage you to stop in. Even some lamps. Just love this shop. And you will certainly be welcomed by Winston. He is a sweet boy. I enjoyed getting to know him. Look at that face. Isn't he precious? He almost looks like a little doll. He's so perfect.
So glad you joined me today for Crossroads Antiques and the wonderful Waterford collections, and growing. They'll be getting more pieces in. The Seahorse Rose Bowl will be a great addition to my collections. And the Bonbon Spoon from Gorham, Strasbourg will also be a wonderful, entertaining essential. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with antique shopping.